Roadside sobriety tests are often used by police officers as part of a nationwide DWI detection program. These tests are used to confirm an officer's suspicion of impairment and provide probable cause to make arrests. 3 field sobriety tests were validated by the Southern California Research Institute in 1981. The horizontal gaze nystagmus, walk and turn, and one-leg stand test have become the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's standardized field sobriety testing battery. This videotape will present a detailed step-by-step demonstration of the proper administration and interpretation of those 3 sobriety tests. The first test we'll discuss today is the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, the most reliable of the 3-test battery. Nystagmus is defined as an involuntary jerking of the eyes. A person cannot feel it or control it or stop it. When a person is sober, we're going to see a very smooth motion in the eyes, such as a marble rolling across a polished pane of glass. When a person is under the influence of alcohol, you should expect to see a bouncing, jerking motion in the eyes, similar to a marble rolling across a rough piece of sandpaper. It is extremely important to administer this test in a systematic, standardized fashion. The following procedures should be used each time the horizontal gaze nystagmus test is administered. First, if the suspect is wearing eyeglasses, have the suspect remove them. Ask the suspect if contacts are being worn. If the response is positive, make note of the type worn. Next, instruct the suspect to stand with feet together, hands at the sides, and look straight ahead. Tell the suspect to focus their eyes on a stimulus, keep their head still, and follow the stimulus with their eyes only, and to keep focusing on that stimulus until the exam is over. The type of stimulus may be a pen light, a pen, or your finger, as long as the suspect can see it clearly and follow it. Officer safety is also extremely important with this test. You need to be fairly close to the suspect, so keep your weapon side angled away from the suspect. Next, position the stimulus about 12 to 15 inches in front of the center of the suspect's face. The tip of the stimulus should be slightly above the eyebrows to open the eyes. Next, check the eyes for equal tracking and pupil size. When checking for equal tracking, move the stimulus from the center of the suspect's face across the left eye and back across the suspect's right eye in one continuous motion. You should take at least 2 seconds for this pass. When checking pupil size, maintain the stimulus 12 to 15 inches from the center of the suspect's face and hold it steady while comparing the size of the pupils. The inability of the eyes to track equally and/or unequal pupil size could be indicators of possible medical impairment. Now, watch as I demonstrate the proper positioning of our subject and stimulus and the check for equal tracking and pupil size. Here, our subject is sober. Right, please stand with your feet together and arms down at the sides like this. Are you wearing contact lenses?
No.
I'm going to check your eyes. Keep your head still and follow the tip of this pen with your eyes only. Keep focusing on this until I tell you to stop. Do you understand?
Yes.
There are 3 specific clues that are used as evidence of alcohol impairment. The first clue to check for is the lack of smooth pursuit. When examining the eyes for this clue, make certain that the suspect maintains the proper position and that you keep the stimulus 12 to 15 inches in front of the suspect's face and slightly above the eyebrows. Check the left eye first, then the right eye. It's a good idea to make 2 passes in each eye to verify your observations. To count this clue, the movement of the eye must not be smooth. There should be a rough and jerky motion in the eye. The second clue is nystagmus at maximum deviation. Once again, the same position of the stimulus must be used, and we begin with the left eye and move the stimulus all the way to the side. Very little or no white of the eye should be visible here. Once the eye is turned as far as possible to the side, the stimulus should be held at that position for about 4 seconds while you check for any nystagmus. Now repeat the procedure in the right eye. A slight or barely visible jerking is not enough to count this clue. The nystagmus must be very distinct. The third clue is an onset of nystagmus prior to 45 degrees. Once again, you should use the same position of the stimulus. Begin with the left eye and move the stimulus slowly to the side to the point where the eye first begins to jerk. Hold the stimulus there to verify that the nystagmus continues. If it does, that will be the angle of onset. It is very important to move the stimulus slowly. Take about 4 seconds to move the stimulus from the center of the suspect's face to the edge of the shoulder. You should not move the stimulus past 45 degrees. To count this clue, the nystagmus must begin before a 45-degree angle is reached. You may find that using a 45-degree angle template is very helpful in estimating that 45-degree angle. There is one in your manual. This template should only be used, though, during training, not at roadside. Now, total up the clues observed. The maximum number of clues possible is 3 in each eye, or a total of 6. While examining a suspect's eyes, we make one final check. We look for vertical nystagmus. Once again, we position our stimulus 12 to 15 inches in front of the suspect's face, even with the eyes. The stimulus is raised upward in a straight line. Elevate the suspect's eyes as far as possible and hold for about 4 seconds. It's also advisable to make 2 passes. The check for vertical nystagmus is not one of the validated clues. It is an indication of a high dose level for that individual. It may also be a symptom of impairment by other drugs. Now, watch the administration of the horizontal gaze nystagmus examination on a suspect whose BAC is above 0.10%. Make note of any clues that you see. All right. Please stand with your feet together and arms down at the sides like this. Are you wearing contact lenses?
No.
And I'm going to check your eyes. Please keep your head still and focus on the tip of this pen with your eyes only. Keep focusing on this till I tell you to stop. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
We first found both equal tracking and pupil size, but you should have noted all three clues of nystagmus in both our volunteers' eyes: a lack of smooth pursuit, distinct nystagmus and maximum deviation, and an angle of onset before 45 degrees. This is a total of 6, the maximum number of clues for this test. We did not detect any vertical nystagmus, however, in our subject's eyes. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration conducted extensive research into the validity of all three standardized field sobriety tests. That research revealed that if 4 or more clues were exhibited during the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, the percentage of reliability with this test is 77%. The 2 remaining tests in our standardized field sobriety testing battery are both based on the concept of divided attention, which requires a suspect to divide attention between mental and physical tasks. Mental tasks include comprehension of verbal instructions, processing information, and recall of memory. Physical tasks include balance and coordination. The first of these divided attention tests is the walk and turn. There are 2 stages of this test: the instruction stage and the walking stage. The surface should be reasonably level and smooth, and a real or imaginary line must exist, which is long enough to permit the suspect to perform the test. The administrative procedures for this test should also be followed in a systematic, standardized fashion. In the instruction stage, the suspect is told to assume a heel-to-toe stance with the left foot on the line and the right foot in front, touching heel to toe. The suspect is told to keep arms down at the side and instructed not to start until told to do so. At this point, you should ask if the suspect understands so far. Next, tell the suspect to take 9 heel-to-toe steps down the line, turn around, and return 9 steps, heel to toe. You should then demonstrate by walking several steps and turning by taking small steps around. Next, tell the suspect that while walking, to watch the feet, keep arms at the sides, and count each step out loud. And don't stop walking until the test is completed. Ask the suspect again if the instructions are understood before allowing the walking stage to begin. All right, place your left foot on that line. Now place your right foot on the line ahead of your left foot with the heel of your right foot against the toe of your left foot. Place your arms down at your sides. Keep this position until I tell you to start walking. Do not start to walk until I tell you to do so. Do you understand the instructions so far? Yes. And when I tell you to start, I want you to take 9 heel-to-toe steps down this line, turn around, and take 9 heel-to-toe steps back up the line. Just like this. When you turn, keep your front foot on the line. Take several small steps around like this. Just return heel to toe. And while you're walking, keep your arms at the sides, watch your feet at all times, and count your steps out loud. Now, once you start walking, don't stop until you've completed the test. Do you understand the instructions? Yes. You may begin and count your first step from that heel to toe position as 1. As the suspect performs the test, you should maintain a stationary position about halfway down the line. Officer safety is also important here. You can maintain a comfortable distance from the suspect, and you shouldn't need to completely turn your back on the suspect at any time. There are 8 validated clues of impairment for the walk and turn test. During the instruction stage, there are 2 possible clues. If the suspect loses balance and steps out of the heel-to-toe position, count 1 clue. If the suspect begins walking before being told to do so, count another clue. In the walking stage, there are 6 possible clues. If the suspect stops while walking, count a clue. If the suspect doesn't touch heel to toe, with at least 1/2 inch distance between the heel and toe, count another clue. If the suspect steps off the real or imaginary line, that's a clue. If the suspect raises their arms for balance more than 6 inches, count a clue. If the suspect either turns improperly or loses balance on the turn, that's a clue. If the suspect takes the wrong number of steps, that's also a clue. If the suspect steps off the line 3 or more times or cannot complete the test, the maximum number of clues, 8, should be recorded. You may use your own discretion in determining if the test should be stopped for the safety of the suspect. Now let's watch our subject, who has a BAC above 0.10%, attempt to perform the walk and turn test. Watch closely and record any clues that you see. All right, place your left foot on that line and place your right foot on the line ahead of your left foot with the heel of your right foot against the toe of your left foot. Now, place your arms down at your sides. Now keep this position until I tell you to start walking. Don't start to walk until I tell you to do so. Do you understand the instructions so far? Mm-hmm. All right, when I tell you to start, take 9 heel-to-toe steps down this line, turn around, and take 9 heel-to-toe steps back up the line. You'll be walking like this, heel to toe. When you turn, keep your front foot on the line. Take several small steps around like this and walk back heel to toe. Now while you're walking, keep your arms at the sides, watch your feet at all times, and count your steps out loud. Do you understand the instructions so far? Mm-hmm. Right, once you start walking, don't stop until you've completed the test. Begin and count your first step from that heel-to-toe position as 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right, just relax. Our volunteer displayed 2 clues of impairment. In the walking stage, she raised her arms for balance and didn't touch heel to toe on 1 step. The minimum number of clues needed to meet the criterion for this test is 2. If 2 or more clues are exhibited, the suspect's BAC will be above 0.10%. The research indicated that the percentage of reliability for this test is 68%. When the results of the walk and turn are combined with the results of the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, a more precise evaluation of the suspect's BAC level can be made by using a table that matches various combinations of clues from both tests. The research indicated an increased percentage of reliability of 80%. The third test in our standardized field sobriety testing battery is also a divided attention test. The one-leg stand combines balancing, listening, and counting out loud. This test also includes an instruction stage and a balance and count stage. As with the walk and turn, the surface should be reasonably level and smooth. The suspect's footwear should be checked to determine if that would make the test more difficult. If so, the suspect should be given the option to remove that footwear. In the instruction stage, the suspect is told to stand straight, keep their feet together, arms at their sides, and maintain that position until told otherwise. At this point, ask if the suspect understands the instructions. If so, continue. Next, tell the suspect to stand on either leg, keep the leg straight, and raise it up approximately 6 inches off the ground with the toes pointed out. Then, give a demonstration. Instruct the suspect to keep their eyes on the elevated foot and to count out loud for 30 seconds in the following manner: 1001, 1002, 1003, and so on until told to stop. Once again, ask the suspect if they understand the instructions. If so, tell the suspect to begin the test.
What I'd like you to do first is stand with your feet together, arms down to your side, stand up straight. Remain in that position until I tell you to do otherwise. Do you understand? Okay, what I'm going to have you do is stand on one leg, whichever leg you choose. I want you to pick the other foot approximately 6 inches off the ground. point your foot out. I want you to watch that foot and count out loud for 30 seconds in the following manner: 1001, 1002, 1003, and so on until I tell you to stop. Do you understand?
You should always time the suspect for 30 seconds. If the suspect puts their foot down too soon, tell the suspect to keep the foot elevated and continue counting. If the suspect counts too slow, stop the test at 30 seconds. There are 4 validated clues of impairment for the one-leg stand. With this test, we look for these clues during the balance and count stage. If the suspect sways while balancing, count 1 clue. If the suspect raises arms for balance more than 6 inches, count another clue. If the suspect hops, count 1 clue. And if the suspect puts the raised foot down on the ground, also count 1 clue. If the suspect puts the foot down 3 or more times and is in danger of falling or cannot complete the test, record the maximum number of clues, 4. You should use your own discretion in determining if the test should be stopped for the safety of the suspect. Once again, let's watch our subject, whose BAC is above 0.10%, attempt the one-leg stand test. Record any clues of impairment that you see.
Okay, you can begin.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, whoa, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 2009, whoa, 2010, 2011, I did this right, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, whoa, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, am I not, is it enough? Whoa. 2020,
Stop.
You should have noted 3 clues of impairment. She used her arms for balance, swayed, and put her foot down. The minimum number of clues needed to meet the criterion for this test is 2. If exhibited, the suspect's BAC will be above 0.10%. The research indicated a percentage of reliability of 65%. Well, now you've seen all 3 tests in our standardized field sobriety testing battery. To become proficient in the use of these tests, you must practice. To maintain standardization, these tests should be administered in the same fashion to every suspect. If you follow the instructions and procedures you've seen today, you'll be better able to detect alcohol-impaired drivers and get them off the road. Good luck.